All right, welcome to the first video in my new shop that I just had put up. I just ran electricity last week when I was off of work, and it's a little cold in here because it's not insulated or anything yet. I'm still working on that. I do have one outlet basically and two lights just for now. It looks super bright in the video, but I mean, it's good enough for now. More on the shop if you want to see it, but for today's video, we're going to be working on this 2020 Ford F150. And basically all I'm going to do for the video, because front brake pads and stuff like that are pretty simple and self-explanatory, but the rear brake pads on these have an electronic parking brake. So you can just do it with a screw-in type tool. Sometimes it doesn't always work. So I've kind of gotten into the habit of just doing it with my scan tool every time. Scan tool I'm using is the, if it'll focus here, the Autel Maxi Pro MP808BT. All the BT stands for is the Bluetooth receiver that you stick into the OBD2 port. This is actually my first one that I bought, and I've bought a more updated version than this, and I'm actually selling this one. If anybody that watches these videos lives around here, let me know if you want to buy it. It's in perfect shape, it works perfectly fine. I just got one that has a couple more features that I needed for my tire shop where I actually work. So I was upgrading just for that, but this works perfectly fine, and you'll see that in today's video. So let me show you the basics of how to plug this in and tell it to rewind the electronic caliper so you don't have to worry about winding it in by hand. So first, obviously, you're gonna wanna have your scan tool booted up and on the main screen, turned on, ready to go. In my case, I have the Bluetooth adapter. If you don't have that, just plug the wire in like normal. And then you just wait for it to, in my case, connect to the scan tool. It should beep when it connects. There we go. As soon as I go to say something, of course it connects. So we're connected. I'm also going to turn the key on to the on position without the engine running. Now, I also have a battery charger going on just so it maintains battery voltage. It's usually fine if you don't have one, but if you have one, you might as well hook it up. So we're going to go into the service menu. And we're going to go to the EPB, which is electronic parking brake. Here, you can go through all the cars and find your vehicle. What I usually do, which is easiest, you go to Auto VIN, Auto Detect. And of course, in this case, Ford was right directly there, but this is same difference. Ford USA, sorry about the focus. And then you just hit OK after it detects the VIN. And then you go through the whole process of like picking out your individual vehicle. It usually asks you questions about emissions and whatnot. So just get through all that, answer all those questions, and then you get to the furthest point, and I'll show you from then on. Okay, once you're to this screen, you're gonna go to Hot Functions. And so you're gonna have to go to Replace Brake Pads Operating Guide. Not sure why it says that. In the case that when you go to this and it says it can't complete the operation, sometimes you have to go into Apply and Release Test, do the Apply and Release Test, which it basically just applies it, releases it, and then it usually works just fine. So we're gonna go into here, Release Parking Brake. It is released. If yours does not, release it, hit OK. Then you can hear them rewinding electrically with the motor. The truck's gonna beep a few times, doing all sorts of crazy stuff on the dash. Ignore that. So then once you get to this point, you can turn the ignition off, leave the scan tool connected, and just set it in the seat until you're done. Done with replacing the brake pads, that is. Like I said, I'm still working on lighting, so you're gonna have to bear with me while I film this. I'll try to get it as best I can. So it's gonna be kind of hard to see. I'm blinding myself so that you can see better. It looks like these are 13s on this. I can't exactly remember, but since we're just doing the pads, we're just gonna take these two 13s out and make sure the caliper pins are all freed up. And as long as that's all set, we shouldn't have to take the caliper bracket off unless these are really stuck. Then we would have to clean the mating surfaces here, but we'll see how that is once we get there. So I'm gonna remove these two nuts now. All right. As you can see, both pins are spinning, which is good. That means they're not seized up. Now, is there a correct size socket or wrench, I mean, for these pins, yes, well, works just as well. There's a pair of needle nose vice grips on there. They just need to be held a little bit from spinning. They're usually not too big a deal. I'm sorry if my arm's right in the way. I'll try and move. See? Bolt comes right out, no problem. Looks like they're nice and lubed up from whoever did them last. So that's good. And that piston moves in and out just great. You're probably seeing most of the video is just gonna be my breath in front of the lens. Sorry about that. So then we can just pull on this a little bit, compress the piston just a little, and it should be easy to take off, just like that. Now you gotta be careful because they don't leave you much slack with the brake line and all these electrical connectors, so just kind of lean it up like that, usually fine. Again, these move really nice actually. Those even come out good. All right, nice. So obviously remove your old pads, try to get them in the light. So I went with the Brake Best Select Pro professional grade brakes from O'Reilly's. Meets OE specification, what everything does. But she does drive a lot, so I recommended the better brakes. Looks like the rotors are still in good shape. Truck's really in nice shape, so I just recommended the better pads. Makes everybody feel better, right? So now we're gonna remove the old hardware here. Let's see if it comes off easily. All right, not too bad. All right, pull both those off. Now we're gonna take a little wire brush. These aren't too rusty or anything like that, so we're gonna take a wire brush to these and clean these up. Well, you saw it here on Freddy's Cars and Chaos. We're gonna use the battery terminal cleaner as our wire brush because I can't seem to find any of my other wire brushes. Really does the same thing, but it's kind of embarrassing. I don't even have a wire brush. What kind of mechanic am I? If these were worse, I would remove this bracket and I would take it with a wire wheel or a whiz wheel and clean up these surfaces, but these just have a little bit of surface rust and some dust on there. So we're just gonna get that nice and cleaned up. Use a paper towel and some just like WD-40 or penetrating fluid, anything like that. Clean these off. If you have brake clean, that's fine too. This isn't gonna hurt it or anything like that. If anything, it'll just add a little bit of rust protection. Clean those off. I'm waiting to see the comments on this one. Everybody always has, oh, well, now this lady's gonna die driving because you put penetrating fluid where the brake pad shim's gotta go. She's, well, might as well kiss her goodbye. It'll be fine, trust me. Now that those are clean, you take a little bit of your caliper grease, whatever kind you use is fine, as long as it's actually made for brake calipers. Put it right on here. Don't put it on the metal shim. Put it onto the bracket. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to stop rust from building up on this bare metal surface against another bare metal surface. When you get your new hardware, normally it's stainless steel anyway, so it doesn't rust. So the problem is not the pad sliding on this. What happens is this rusts and then it pushes out on these and it causes it to make it so the pad doesn't slide properly. Now we gotta install these. The shadows from this light being where it is kind of making it difficult for me to figure out what the hell I'm doing. I can do it, I know what I'm doing. Right? Oh, it's because one of the things is bent over. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but that tab is bent right in. Well, that's not good. Take my needle nose pliers and bend it back out. Now let's try that again. Wow, imagine that, it goes right on when it's not bent. Come on, O'Reilly's, you're better than that. Is it possible that I bent it? Probably, but my story, I'm sticking to it that they bent it. Put the other one on the other side. I'm sorry for the visuals again. It will be better. This video is more for educational purpose on the electronic part of it than the physical part anyway. Man, this new hardware is usually really good with these Brake Best Pros. I don't know what the deal is. All right, those are on there. Then the pads, they're nice. They have this like blue anti, I don't know, it's a break-in period thing. I don't think these are inner and outer, and doesn't look like any of them come with squeakers, so it doesn't matter where you put them. So we're gonna put them like so, and they slide very nicely into place, which is what you really want. You don't want to have to hammer them in. Some old cars are just so rusty that you have to kind of give them a tap, but once they're on like this, they should move basically 100% freely like that. And then these are fine. Usually I tend to leave these alone if they move really easily, because you don't, if you mix greases, sometimes it makes it worse. So I just leave them as long as they're still moving really good. And you want to take your caliper rewind tool or vice grips or a C-clamp, really whatever you got. This one's a little worn out. She doesn't like to turn so good anymore, but it should still do the job. Now this is the beauty of when you do the electronic rewind, because you can just run these in like normal. You don't have to worry about rewinding the caliper. It does it for you. Once that's run down, good to go. Make sure these are nice and clean so they face up well against the pins. I like to take just a little bit of that caliper grease, stick it on this piston face just so it stops any corrosion wherever possible. I don't even know if you can see that. You probably can't see it. I guess you kind of could. I put a little bit of grease on the piston face here. I also pushed the caliper in like normal. I don't know if you could see it. So once that's all lubed up, slide it back over the new pads. Take your screws, get them started in your pins there. You're gonna run these down snugly at first. I'm gonna torque them to spec, if I can find the spec real quick, and then I'll let you know what that is. Just a little bit. Sometimes you need, like on the way out, you need to hold the pin from spinning. Just a little bit there. Caliper to bracket, 27 foot-pounds. Bust out the old snap-on for this. Set to 27 foot-pounds. There we go. $27. So now I'm gonna do the other side. I'm gonna do it off camera, and then I can show you how to reset the electronic brakes. All right, so first we're gonna come over here, turn the ignition back on, run position, engine off. All right, and then we're gonna hit OK. All right, those have been reapplied. Truck freaks out a little bit more. Rear brake pad replacement completed. So, like I said, the biggest point that I was trying to do was show the electronic parts of it. The physical parts, there's tons of videos on how to change brake pads and stuff like that, so don't worry about that too much. And the visuals I know suck, but I only have overhead lighting, so I'm working on some side lighting so I can see under cars and stuff like that. But I also only have gravel floor right now, so I'm working on a lot of things. Like I said, if you want to see more videos about the shop, then I will post them. I can do updates and stuff like that. For now, I think that's a good little tutorial on how to do electronic brake pad replacement with the scan tool. If you'd like a video on how to do it without it, let me know, but I'd have to wait until I come across another car that has it in order to do it without the scan tool. So, well, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around this long if you have, and look forward to more videos on cars and shop updates as I have time to make them and it's not blisteringly cold outside. So, thanks for watching.